The Dulaney Lions, undefeated in 1986, led by Coach Gary Schreiber, a perfect 8-0 record, averaging almost 20 goals a game and giving up very few on defense. Headed for the state AA playoffs, an outstanding Dulaney team here in 1986, ready to face their arch rival on a beautiful day. And there they are, the Towson Generals, 7-2 so far in 1986, having just this week lost to Loch Raven 6-3, coached by Randy Days. Towson in the A division, but having won the last 2 years over Dulaney, as these two arch rivals meet at Towson High School on a beautiful, sunny May afternoon. As Cable 4 and Catonsville Community College present Baltimore County High School Lacrosse, the Dulaney Lions and the Towson Generals. Hello everyone, this is Wilson Watson together with Bob Sopka at Towson High School for what has become almost in many ways the Super Bowl of high school lacrosse in Baltimore County. It's Towson and Dulaney on a windy but sunny and cool day at Towson High School. Bob, we've got great offense against a very stingy defense.
Yeah, the Dulaney offense is averaging near 20 goals a game, Wilson, and the Towson defense, the strength of their team, is holding their opponents, has held their opponents now to an average of just under 3 goals a game. So you match up 20 goals for offense, 3 goals for the defensive expectation. That's a real good matchup. I think what it boils down to then is what the other two ends of the field, or the other end of the field, can do to hold the ball away from that strength in either case. If the offense for Dulaney has the ball a lot, they're going to score a lot. So the Towson offense has to keep the ball. That's my assessment, but this has been a game of upsets in the last couple of years, so making predictions is tough.
We've got a very windy day here. Does that make any difference in terms of the overall team play?
Not a whole lot. The sky is clear, the sun is shining, as everyone can see. The wind itself really won't cause that much of an effect. If anything, a little bit of blowing dust around the crease will be all that we can expect. No big deal.
So we're just about ready for the start of this afternoon's game. We'll be right back. Stay with Cable 4.
I'm Don Hutchinson, a former Baltimore County public school student. I'm proud of my public school education and the dedicated teachers I had. We all have a favorite teacher, one who gave our lives special direction. For me, that was Ruth Davies, my high school English teacher. Mrs. Davies made literature come alive. Thanks to her, I'm still an avid reader. As county executive, I'm proud of all those teachers like Mrs. Davies who make Baltimore County Public Schools among the best in the nation.
Hello everyone, this is Wilson Watson. We're at Towson Senior High School for the game between Dulaney High School and Towson High School, a game that every year is an exciting one because we have two of the finest teams in Baltimore County lacrosse. This year, the Dulaney Lions are unbeaten and marching toward the hoped-for championship of the AA division in Baltimore County, and Towson losing its first game of the season and then losing this week to Loch Raven by the score of 6-3, losing earlier in the season to Falston 5-4. And with me today, a Johns Hopkins graduate. We have a lot of Johns Hopkins graduates here today. Both coaches, graduates of Johns Hopkins, Randy Dace and Gary Schreiber, and my color assistant analyst, lacrosse expert, Bob Sopka.
Wow, what an introduction. Yeah, actually, Gary Schreiber graduated from Johns Hopkins in '67, same year I did, actually, and Randy Dace 9 years later in '76, both having come from the same school, both teach fundamental lacrosse. And this game, this is the third year we broadcast this game, and every year, for the last 2 years anyway that we've been involved, it's been an excellent game. I hesitate to make predictions. Last year and the year before, I thought that Dulaney had the edge and Towson came away victorious. This year, again, on paper, we'd have to say Dulaney has the edge, but It's a tough call. This is a highly contested game every year, and this year should be no exception.
It's Towson in white, Dulaney in red. Let's run through that Dulaney Lions starting lineup. On attack, number 6, Jay Clark, number 9, Jamie Pizzula, and number 15, Robbie Robertson. The starting midfield is number 7, Andy Leung, number 8, Mike Hayes, 18 is Joey Thomas. The starting defense, Chris Cavallo, number 2, number 5, Jeff Iannello, and number 38, Ben Pecunis. And in the goal for Dulaney in red, number 3, Chris Swanenberg. For the Towson Generals, the starting attackmen are 5, Bill Becker, 13, Blair Boggs, 29, Harris Murphy. Starting midfield, number 7, Dave Goko, 24, Dorsey Moore, and 25, Sam Goff. The defense, 19, Mark Evans, 23, Eric Legay, 28, Chris Andrews, and starting in the goal, number 1, Bob Pompanio. The officials today, Joe Reppert and Gene Miles. That's Gene Miles with the ball for the face-off. Big crowd on hand. Outstanding Baltimore County High School lacrosse. And it's Dulaney with that first face-off. The Lions averaging almost 20 goals per game. The Towson defense only allowing less than 3 goals per game. So it's great offense against great defense.
And Dulaney comes out quickly on the face-off. They're running a very settled offense right now. They don't seem to be in any particular hurry. Well, I'm sure it will be very shortly when they test the defense.
Andy Leung, and he scores.
Just a strong one-on-one run-around move. Leung using his strength. He has put on some weight since last year. It's apparent to me, Wilson. And using that strength to good advantage right up over the goalkeeper's shoulder.
Just about a minute gone in this first quarter, and it's 1-0 Dulaney.
And there's a shot of Andy Leung having scored that goal, number 7 for Dulaney.
Right away, the second midfield in there for the Lions, and that is number 25, Bob Buddington. Well, let's see, Mike Hayes is still on there, number 8.
Yeah, I believe Buddington has been acting as a face-off specialist. He came off right after the face-off on the first flurry. And in fact, there he goes out of the bottom of your screen off through the bench. So he'll be the Dulaney face-off specialist today.
And here's Leung back in the center. Checked by number 24 for Towson, Dorsey Moore.
And the defense was equal to the task that time, knocking the ball loose. And it looks like Towson should get possession. Back line, that's right, Pompanio.
Bob Pompanio, outstanding goalie for the Towson Generals. Towson has lost several players to injuries this year, among them their outstanding midfielder, John Sheehan. And of course, graduating from Towson from last year's state championship undefeated team was the great Brendan Kelly, who is now a starting midfielder as a freshman at Johns Hopkins. And you've got to be pretty good, Bob, to do that.
Yeah, Kelly was without a doubt the outstanding player for the Towson squad for the last 3 years, and was voted the outstanding lacrosse player in this area last year, so his credentials are impeccable, and breaking into the Hopkins lineup in your freshman year, as you mentioned, Wilson, is no small feat.
Towson trying to clear here and having some problems. A defenseman there, number 19 with the ball, is Mark Evans. Pompanio getting it back to Evans. And he clears it to another defenseman, number 29.
Oh, an excellent opportunity there. Hurrying the shot a little bit was number 13, Blair Boggs, down in the Towson end of the field. Actually, he had a lot more time than I think he realized to get that off.
Number 29 is Harris Murphy. We have him listed as an attack man, but number 29 is playing defense for Towson, so we'll have to check that out. And it's Towson on the attack, and there's a bad pass. This is something that has plagued Coach Days' team all year.
I think this is one of the keys to the game here, as we mentioned in the run into the game when we were describing things right before we got started, that it seems to me that the longer Towson can keep the ball on their offensive end of the field, away from that high-scoring attack of Dulaney, will be a pivotal consideration in this. But the loose ball now is picked up momentarily by Dulaney.
We'll get a push.
And I think we do have a call here, right?
Coach Joe Reppert calling a push against Towson. So it'll be Dulaney ball. They lead 1-0. We're in the first quarter, and I'm sure our cameras will show you from time to time, there is a huge crowd here at Towson High School for this game.
It's also a pretty good wind blowing today. It makes it kind of hard to hear some of the whistles, actually.
A real feast of sports at Towson High. They've got a baseball game going on, a track meet, a tennis match, and a softball game in addition to this lacrosse game. But most of the eyes are here on the lacrosse field. These are two outstanding teams. Dulaney, always a powerhouse. Last year made it to the semifinals of the state tournament. Towson won in their bracket in the state tournament, had a perfect season. And Dulaney has lost the last two games to Towson, and they are hungry for revenge. This is a very close team for Coach Gary Schreiber. He says they play as a team better than any team he's ever coached.
Well, he's got a number of experienced ball players this year. We recognize a number of the players from our coverage in the last 2 years, and that counts for something in this game.
That defenseman for Towson, number 29, is Chris Andrews. Harris Murphy, is the attack man, is wearing number 30, so it's 29 Chris Andrews on that defense for Towson, along with Eric Legay, number 23, and number 19, Mark Evans, and it is once again Dulaney on the attack.
And this is Chip Miller coming in, taking individual effort, number 1, coming around from the far side of the goal and dumping the ball in around the goalkeeper, Bob Pompanio's knees. The attack for Dulaney does have very good size. Chip Miller, number 1, who, there we have him in your screen, just scored that goal. And also Jamie Pizzula, number 9, and Jay Clark, number 6, are both sizable. All three of them are sizable attackmen, and they're going to be a real challenge to the Towson defense.
Coach Randy Day says that's enough right now with a 2-0 Dulaney lead early in the first quarter. I want timeout. And there you can see the fans here today. They are here in force on both sides of the field. They're growing all the time. More cars coming into the parking lot. There's Towson in their huddle with their traditional white jerseys and maroon shorts. Dulaney in the bright red with the white numerals. Dulaney having an outstanding year in sports. Their girls basketball team did a fine job. Boys basketball baseball, football team pulled some upsets. So Dulaney in lacrosse carrying on a winning tradition at Dulaney High School. There are the Towson Cheerleaders.
This is probably a good move by Randy Days to take this timeout in the first half. You don't really have to worry too much about saving those timeouts to the end of the half. But I know that he has scouted the Dulaney team and knows how the size of the Dulaney attack matches up against his good defense. And I think, my guess is that right now he wants to remind his defense about covering for each other on the slides. They had 2 individual goals scored on them, and I know that that's not something that he wants to have continue today.
Towson trailing 2-0. Dulaney with 2 quick goals from one from the attack, Chip Miller, and one from a midfielder, Andy Leung. And it will be the face-off after that second goal.
And again, that's 25 Bob Buddington, face-off specialist, getting down into the crouch for Dulaney. And for Towson. Yeah, Towson, yes, Dorsey Moore.
And Dulaney comes away with it, number 25, Bob Buddington. The Lions go back on the attack. And this is a thing Coach Days does not want to see. His team does not score a lot of goals this year, and he certainly doesn't want to fall way behind. And there's a midfielder coming in all alone. Everybody trying to knock it out of the crease. And in the crease, illegal procedure against Dulaney. It will be a Towson clear.
Yeah, again, Dulaney trying to take advantage of their strength. Andy Campbell, excuse me, number 20 on that move there. Pompanio, Towson goalkeeper, having a little bit of trouble getting the clamp on the ball, but finally does get possession on the technicality.
Yeah, it's funny, Bob, as you sit up here from our angle with the fans and the players ringing the field, it makes the field look much smaller than it really is.
Certainly does. Actually, as you said, a very nice crowd here. It's a beautiful day.
Well, Moore goes down, and no call from the official. This is number 23 for Towson with the ball, Eric Legay. And he gets it ahead to the attack. So Blair Boggs will bring it down for the Towson Generals. And he gets it back to number 25, Sam Goff. Remember, Sam is an attack man back in his sophomore days, and now a starting midfielder. And this This is Harris Murphy behind the goal for Towson. Now there's that problem, a missed pass. This has plagued Towson all season. Although the Generals are 7-2, Coach Day's not happy with the way they played.
This is Jay Clark on the far side, testing the defenseman, Mike Evans, I believe. Mike Evans taking the ball. He's doing a good job on Clark.
Clark's an outstanding attack man. He and Pizzula have scored a lot of goals for this Dulaney team.
Ooh, and just missing the goal on the shot. Pompanio getting control of the ball and setting up his clear.
Pompanio looking down through the cloud of dirt. Been around this field for 30 years, Bob, and it's always dirt. The grass never returns.
I think it's a local geological phenomenon. The grass won't grow on the middle of this field.
Towson attempting that clear. They trail 2-0. And number 29 that time, Chris Andrews, a 10th grader for Towson, basically trying to throw it through everybody, and it's a Towson ball. Here come the Generals.
Yeah, an easy clear on the out of bounds there, so Towson's offense gets a chance to show its stuff.
This Dulaney defenseman doing some outstanding work down there.
Tim Washburn almost getting away with an inside roll there, but a real nice check at the last second. Breaks the ball loose and results in this ground ball struggle.
So it'll be a Towson ball. A lot of bodies on the field that time, and here comes some substitute midfielders for both squads. This is that second midfield for Dulaney. Buddington, Ledbetter, and Campbell.
That was Harris Murphy, number 30 for Towson, making that move on the goal. A shot getting off here. Nice save. Very nice save by Swanenberg.
Dulaney will go to its clear. Number 38 with the ball back there on defense for Dulaney, Ben Pacunas. You can see the dust when the wind blows, a tremendous cloud of dust down there blowing right to that goal. So the goalie in that end right now at Swanenberg is going to have a mouthful of dust, and another bad pass by Towson. Number 25, Bob Buddington for the Lions. They lead 2-0, first quarter.
Robbie Robertson making an individual move. Third individual unassisted goal by the Dulaney offense. This time, number 15, Robbie Robertson, taking that strong right-hand run-around move, getting just a half a step on his defenseman, but using his strength to get the shot off, a hard shot, beating Pompanio to his right-hand side.
3-0 Dulaney in the first quarter.
Well, I don't think there's any mistake about it. What we've seen on the Dulaney offense so far has been simply using their size and strength. Nothing particularly fancy. We do have a delay of game call apparently here, not getting set up for the face-off quickly enough on the Towson team, so Dulaney does get the ball without the face-off.
Towson mistake that is very costly because it gives Dulaney the ball, and they've just scored to make it 3-0. Leung there in the center. Dorsey Moore is his man. The Lions retaining possession. And this is number 8 for Dulaney, Mike Hayes. Back to number 18, Joey Thomas. And the ball out of bounds. It will be a Dulaney possession, and number 1, Chip Miller, back there behind the goal.
There's a shot of brief shot of some of the fans there. getting back into the flow of the game. Ball is swatted upfield. Pick it up in a moment here, all the way up to the midfield line, rolling on the sideline. There we have one of the classic ground ball struggles. Towson coming up with it. Pass in front, but Swanenberg gets control.
And another errant pass, and Dulaney comes up with the ball, now moving in on the fast break. Pompanio doing a nice job there. And we got a slashing
penalty
call.
time to be served in the game. A slash has been called on the Towson defense. That penalty is on number 23, Eric Legay. It will be 1 minute time served in the penalty box. The first extra man opportunity for the Dulaney Lions.
Lions on top, 3-0, first quarter. And this is number 6, Jay Clark. Outside to Joey Thomas. Leung in the middle, back to Clark, and there on the crease. And a nice stop by Pompanio. That was a shot by Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, it was an excellent move by Pompanio. Robertson certainly had the opportunity to score, and Pompanio is equal to the task.
And number 7 for Towson, Dave Goko, went out of bounds, so it will be Dulaney ball.
Andy Leung about Leung about to put the ball in play. And the swarming Towson defense. He's got the ball loose now. Can they pick it up? There we go. A nice play by 29 Chris Andrews there to get the ball over to Evans. Moving it upfield. Ooh, not a wise pass.
Harris out all right. He's got a man over there, and a pass does not get there quickly enough to Washburn. Pass not crisp enough, and Washburn unable to handle it.
That, by the way, is not Chris Washburn in your screen. That is the timekeeper on the field, signaling less than a minute in the period. We don't have a clock that we can see, so that's our only guidance is the time in the period. This is the first quarter, winding down.
And Murphy loses the ball out of his stick, and here comes Leung for Dulaney. Wild swing by Richard Rosenthal. Leung dodging everybody. And a nice pass to number 15, Robbie Robertson, his second goal, and Dulaney now leads 4-0.
Yeah, Leung knew what he was doing. He took that ball, went right into the whole area. Actually, I think he could have shot the ball himself, but chose instead to pass off to Robertson. In fact, it almost became a difficult situation. Robertson had to handle a tough pass, picked it up and put it in a goal. 4-0 for Dulaney.
Coach Schreiber very happy with his short passing game this year. Again, his team playing, as he said to us before the game, very well as a unit. No outstanding athletes, he says, on his team, but just playing very well as a team all over. Defense, midfield, attack, in the goal. A team that's very close, both off the field and on the field. So here we'll have the face-off with a 4-0 Dulaney lead.
I think when Coach Schreiber said he has no outstanding athletes on the team, he means that he has no one that's outstanding
that stands
over
out.
others.
Yes, over the others.
Surely has a collection of excellent athletes. Dulaney getting another shot off. 35, that was Buddy. Ball now is controlled by Towson. And that is the end of the period. As you mentioned, the wind makes it a little bit difficult for us to pick up the whistles, but the period has ended.
So the first quarter ends with Dulaney on top, convincingly 4-0. Again, stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back.
People are not only living longer today, they're living better. The average age of these players is 73 years old.
Come on, man, you're swinging like an old lady.
The remarkable thing isn't that they still play baseball, but that they all had cancer, and they all survived. 1 out of 2 people who gets cancer gets well. Help us keep winning.
Well, 3:30.
No?
No?
After 3:30.
Oh, no. Second quarter about to begin as both teams in their huddles. I'd like to remind you to stay with Cable 4 at halftime because we're going to have an interview with the father of one of the Dulaney players, a young man named Roland Matty. There's the back of a Towson jacket showing that in 1985 they indeed were the state A champions and undefeated. At halftime we're going to have Roland Matty's dad, a gentleman named Tom Matty, who played a lot of excellent football for the Baltimore Colts, and we all remember him fondly as we remember the Colts fondly, Bob, from a long time ago it seems.
So unfortunately it does seem like a long time ago. It would be nice to have Tom with us.
We'd like to mention stay with Cable 4's upcoming games because we're going to have an outstanding girls lacrosse game coming up next week. It'll be the Hereford Bulls and the Catonsville Comets, two fine girls lacrosse teams. And we're going to be covering some games in the state playoffs in the boys department. We'll have a state regional playoff game, and we'll be at the state finals at UMBC if a Baltimore County school is involved, and we certainly hope both. There's Coach Randy Days and his assistant, Randy Walker.
And this has been the face-off matchup so far today. Dorsey Moore for Towson in white and Bob Buddington for Dulaney, but the Dulaney wingman comes in, takes the ball from the ground, Robbie Robertson.
So it's Dulaney now coming down on offense, going in the opposite direction. They'll be going with the wind, and Pompanio makes a nice save, looks for the outlet, but Dulaney right there to check him. Towson has generated no offense whatsoever in the first quarter, so let's see what the Generals can do. It's been all Dulaney.
Dulaney's offense is running as a very smooth, well-oiled machine right now. I'm really impressed with their stick work, their teamwork, and their overall confidence level. They look like they have no problem at all thinking that they're going to win this game at this point.
Well, they have certainly a revenge factor for the last couple of years, and also just, again, they were upset, they think, last year in the semifinals of the state playoffs to Annapolis, and they certainly want to go all the way this year. We hope they do, because if they do, Cable 4 will be there to cover that final at UMBC, the game to be played on May the 17th. There's a corner of the field. You can see the official down there and part of the crowd that spills over into all parts of this fabled field at Towson High School. Miller takes a left-handed shot that goes over the goal.
Backing up the ball that time was Jay Clark, who will take possession, passing it out to the midfield.
This is Leung in the center of the midfield for the Lions. Nice dodge there by Clark, but he didn't have the advantage, so he took it back out, set it up. Of course, Dulaney can take their time. They lead by 4. Another stop by Pompanio. And Dulaney retains possession. Got some whistles here as a substitution in for Dulaney. It's number 15, Robbie Robertson, replacing number 1, Chip Miller.
Well, this is the matchup we spoke of before the game. The powerful Dulaney offense averaging just under 20 goals a game. The Towson defense in white holding their opponents to just under 3 goals a game. Right now, the Dulaney offense has the best of it with a 4-0 lead.
Towson having trouble with those clears, with that catching and throwing. And here's Pompanio. He's going to bring it up himself. Mark Evans on that far side. Again, a pass that goes out of bounds. It will go over to Dulaney.
We don't keep those statistics, but how should we say, as in basketball turnovers, I would have to think that Towson is well ahead in that unfortunate category at this point in the game. And I think, as you mentioned before, Wilson, that's what they're going to have to do to get back into this game, is erase those turnovers, not be throwing the ball away, have more ball control. If you can control the ball on your offensive end, you have a chance of scoring, and that's the first step in mounting an offense.
Well, this is what Towson's been able to do in the last couple of years, of course, with outstanding players such as Brendan Kelly, is to control that ball on offense and exert a lot of pressure on the other team's defense. So far today, the Dulaney defense has had very little to do, and what they've had to do, they've done very well. And here they come on a clear.
loose ball struggle there.
And Dulaney comes up with it. Number 18 for Dulaney is Joey Thomas. And this is Leung, number 7. He is the quarterback on that midfield. Ball knocked down by Rosenthal. No, that's number, let's see what that is for Towson. Number 16, Taggart Brown.
Well, we should have another shot here. Oh.
Outstanding shot by number
8. Mike Hayes took that ball. Pompanio actually got a piece of that. Pompanio just barely got the edge of his stick on that shot, but unfortunately not enough to deflect it away from the goal. It still went in, hit the strings, giving Dulaney that 5-0 lead. And out of those 5 goals, I might point out, only 1 has been an assisted goal. 4 unassisted goals.
One by Chip Miller, 2 by Robbie Robertson, 1 by Andy Leung, and now 1 by Mike Hayes. Dulaney with a 5-0 lead, and with the face-off.
That's Bob Buddington effectively performing his role as face-off specialist for the Dulaney Lions. And it looks like he's going to take a run at the goal here.
His shot is wide of the mark. But Dulaney always backing up and therefore always getting that next shot.
And the Towson crowd, see, there was some concern as to how to get their team back into the game.
Fusting, Moore, and Goff are back in there on the Towson midfield. And this is Jay Clark. Number 20 there for Dulaney, Andy Campbell.
Another strong run around by number 15, Robbie Robertson, getting the shot off wide of the goal.
Dulaney leading 5-0. We're in the second quarter at Towson High. And stopped by Pompanio. That shot would have been high. And there's a pass out of bounds. So once again, Pompanio makes the save. The pass goes out of bounds, and it's Dulaney ball.
There's nothing very fancy about the Dulaney offense. I think Coach Schreiber is playing to the obvious strength of his team. He has a lot of strong, a number of strong individual players, and they move the ball around until one of them has the opportunity to take the dodge. And that's just the thing to do with the talent he has.
Chip Miller getting it outside. This is Thomas. Dulaney, as they have been all game on the attack. Andy Leung. And now Towson gets perhaps a fast break opportunity. And here come the Generals. Dorsey Moore. Now he will settle.
I think that's a wise move to pull up on that play. He didn't really have a clear-cut fast break, and Towson needs to spend some time on the offensive end of the field, give their defense a bit of a break.
Number 13 for Towson, Blair Boggs. This is number 8, Tim Washburn. Outside the 17, Dave Fusting. Dorsey Moore loses the pass, flips it back to Fusting. Good play by Moore that time to save that. And that's number 27 for Towson, Dave Duda. And Dulaney comes away with the ball. Towson does not get a shot off.
And that was Chris Cavallo, the Dulaney defenseman. There was a shot of the sidelines there. Some substitutes coming up to the bench for Towson. We do have a whistle, a timeout on the field.
Dulaney takes timeout as they lead 5-0. Coach Gary Schreiber wanting to talk it over with his team. Stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back.
In laboratories around the world, scientists have discovered something that may help prevent some forms of cancer. You don't have to go to a cancer center to get it. In fact, it's right in your kitchen. Because some studies show if we eat less fat and more fiber, up to 1/3 of cancers could be avoided. Someday there may be an ultimate cure for all cancers, but if we eat better, a lot of us won't need it. Ask us for a free booklet on diet and cancer.
It's Bay Reach. It's
There are the cheerleaders for Towson High School in front of our Cable 4 truck. And they're doing an excellent job this afternoon. But so far, they don't have a great deal to cheer about as their team is trailing by the score of 5-0. And there is Dulaney in its huddle. We'd like to mention an upcoming game added to our Cable 4 schedule. The Baltimore County All-Stars are going to be playing an all-star lacrosse game at Catonsville Community College on on May the 18th at 2 o'clock. We'd like everyone to come out and see it. That'll be the Baltimore County Boys All-Star Lacrosse game at Catonsville Community College on Sunday, May the 18th at 2 o'clock, and we will be covering that for Cable 4.
The Dulaney players have taken the field. Towson just breaking out of their huddle will set up your defense.
Coach Gary Schreiber. Happy so far with a 5-0 lead. He's done an outstanding job at Dulaney over the years. His assistant is Don McGay. And here come the Lions. Looking confident, looking strong, and leading by 5-0. Oh, a nice flip pass over his head by Robertson. That was a beauty. Two men came to him, and he flipped it over his back. And that ball will go out of bounds, and it will be off a Towson stick. But it looks like a Dulaney player hit it just as it went out, so it will be Towson ball.
But I think Chip Miller made it dive for the ball unwisely, unfortunately touching it, and therefore Towson getting the possession.
Dorsey Moore with the ball for Towson. And the Towson Generals finally on offense here.
Harris Murphy making a move there. Very nice inside roll. Harris Murphy is a sizable fellow himself, using his strength to inside roll, drawing a penalty. And I believe that will be a personal foul. We'll have to check with the referee. Signals that the goal is good. And a hold. That's a technical foul that'll be wiped out by the penalty. But an excellent move by Harris Murphy, number 30 for Towson, to get them on the scoreboard for the first time today.
5-1 now, and there are the Dulaney cheerleaders, Stacy Cam and Sandy Howard, the captains, Sam Kennedy, Kelly Cunningham, Monica Larrabee, Amy Blumenthal, Kim Kleiner, Susan Jodon, Beth Peter, Angie Smith, and Holly Phipps. The Dulaney cheerleaders here this afternoon. Their team leading now 5-1.
Illegal procedure being signaled on the face-off. I believe that Dulaney wing midfielder on the far side of the field, stepped over the line a little bit too soon, so Towson gets automatic possession on that technical foul.
Number 30 for Towson that scored their first goal, Harris Murphy. Number 30, and there's a shot by Dorsey Moore over the goal. So Towson now generating some offensive power as the Generals trail by 4, 5-1.
I think another goal, if it's possible for Towson here, would do a lot to restore their confidence and make them feel like they're back in this game at this point.
Washburn out to Moore. Moore being carefully guarded by Leung, and here's a shot by number 17, Dave Fusting. Hard shot, but over the goal. So it will be Towson backing up, and they will continue on offense.
Tim Washburn, let's get that right, on attack for Towson, making some moves to the goal, being harassed by the defense, Jeff Iannello. And Fusting will make a move at the goal from the midfield.
Iannello, Cavallo, and Pacunas on the defense for Dulaney, and that hits the pipe.
Now we have a whistle. There's Spanky Reppert, our referee today.
Spanky?
Spanky.
I'll bet he's grateful to you for mentioning that, Bob.
Hey, everybody knows that. One of the longtime respected referees around this area.
Towson trailing 5-1 on attack. Murphy back to Moore. Shot by the goal. And Fusting over there. Again, it's the man closest to the ball. When it goes out of bounds on a shot, that team gets the ball. And that's why those attackmen and midfielders try to back up so their team can maintain some sort of offensive coordination. Murphy, he has Towson's only goal.
Attempting to dump the ball inside to the crease attackman at that point. Blair Boggs passes a little bit low. Boggs was open. Towson is showing some offensive capability now. This is their first really controlled offensive flurry that we've seen in the game so far. We're probably a little bit more than halfway through the second period. Dulaney holding a 5-1 edge, but Towson showing some offense.
Again, stay with us at halftime. We'll be talking to Tom Matty, a fan here today watching his son perform for Dulaney. And this is Towson on the attack. And we'll get a penalty here. Holding called against Dulaney, technical foul. That'll be a 30-second penalty, and we will see Towson with an extra man play for the first time this afternoon for 30 seconds.
Yeah, for as intense and hotly contested as a game this is, it has been a very clean game so far. There's a shot of the Dulaney bench. Number 20, Andy Campbell, getting a view from the sideline.
Towson with the extra man. Generals need a score here because they trail by 4. Here comes Murphy in again, takes the shot by the goal. And that goes out of bounds after a Towson man had touched it, so it will be Dulaney ball. And this is what a coach does not want to see, his team to be extra and lose the ball.
Yeah, I don't think that was good choice of shot selection by Murphy. It was an extra man situation and a little bit too much of a forced opportunity, I would think.
And Dulaney is going to clear this ball successfully, which will eliminate the extra man.
Woohoo, a close one there. Robbie Robertson just having the ball leak out the side of his stick with a golden opportunity. Coming back to Dulaney Lions, though. Ball rolls toward the back line. It will be out of bounds. Towson possession. Towson dodged a bullet right there. They had two quick opportunities that Dulaney solved for them.
But Dulaney trying a couple of real quick passes that time, and maybe just a little bit too quick, in the sense that the player really unable, not controlling the ball at all before attempting to either pass it or shoot. So Towson now will attempt to clear. And Moore's going to run it up by himself. But he is now being surrounded. And again, a pass that gets away. And a nice save there by Robertson.
Oh, an excellent one-on-one save by Papanio. Now, an opportunity for Towson. And that's scored. Wonderful fast break. Excellently contrived fast break. The assist to Blair Boggs, number 13, the goal to Tim Washburn on a very nice shot.
And assist all the way down the field, starting with the goalkeeper.
Very, very nice fast break opportunity.
Well, regardless of the outcome of the game, that's the kind of play that lacrosse coaches on any side dream about, where every one of your players makes the perfect pass to the open man. You come right down the field, and with that play, the half has come to an end. So the first half ends with the Dulaney Lions leading the Towson Generals by the score of 5-2. Stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back.
Back in 1913, people didn't talk about cancer.
Consumption? Pneumonia, I heard.
Then the American Cancer Society was founded. We've made great strides against many forms of cancer. But the best thing we've done is get people talking about cancer.
What did the doctor say?
He didn't really say.
We can't fight it if we hide from it.
Halftime today to have with us a guest who is a father of one of the players on the Dulaney Lions, a man familiar to all Baltimoreans and fans of Baltimore professional sports, and that is Tom Matte, formerly of the Baltimore Colts. Tom, Dulaney High School community has a lot of people with whom Baltimore sports fans would be very familiar. I'm sure you know a lot of those families.
Oh, yeah. Well, Eric Volk has had a real great year over at Loch Raven, and then he got a full ride to Duke University. We got the Crowley kids. We've got the Belanger kids. We've got, I've got my son here playing at Dulaney. It's a lot of the people that participate in sports, professional sports here, live out in Baltimore County, and they've done a great job. I think the coaching here is indicative of what's happening for lacrosse.
Did you know a lot about lacrosse before you came to Baltimore County?
Well, not really, except that my big brother in fraternity at Ohio State was the captain of the lacrosse team, and that's when I first was introduced to it. I just wish we'd have had this game back in high school when I was growing up in Cleveland. I think this is the greatest game going. In fact, I would have probably just concentrated on this and the heck with football.
And you never would have been an instant quarterback for the Baltimore Colts. Well, since we've got you here, I know that our fans would probably be disappointed if we didn't ask you something about professional football and its future in Baltimore.
Well, I think a lot of things are happening right now. They're starting to trial on the suit against the USFL against the CBS or NBC and ABC and the NFL itself. And I think some of the things that have happened so far, it makes it look a little more optimistic for us that we may be able to get a team.
Well, one final question, Tom, about today's game between Dulaney and Towson. How do you feel about the way the game's gone so far?
Well, the thing that I think is so great is the teamwork that Dulaney has done so far. This is just a great game, and it's a county, it's a county championship as far as everybody's concerned. And it's been a lot of fun, and the kids, I think, are just doing a great job.
Well, thanks a lot to Tom Matte for being with us at halftime, and stay with Cable 4 because we'll be right back.
Working with scientists at the Marshall Space Flight Center will enable me to share this unique experience with my students. Seeing a class become excited when discussing space and time is as enriching as having a class grasp a concept on genetic engineering. My experiences in teaching are as invigorating as my appearances throughout the country sharing this great honor. I continue to be excited about teaching, and I am proud to be a teacher in Baltimore County.
Second half about to begin. One of the signs here at Towson High School, and the corrected score, that second Towson goal did not count at the end of the first half because the first half had ended 3 seconds before that goal. So the correct score as the second half begins is 5-1 in favor of Dulaney. Some of the fans here this afternoon, and there are many of them, and no one is left, even though Dulaney has pretty well dominated that first half. And there's Coach Randy Dace. Towson came on, Bob, at the end of that first half.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them that that goal didn't count, of course, but I think it really will help their confidence level significantly. They did manage to play some coordinated offense at the end of that first half, and I think that's going to go a long way to instilling some confidence in their offense going into this second half. I look for things to tighten up a little bit here. Towson does have possession coming out of the face-off. This is Dorsey Moore handling the ball outside the restraining line. It looks like he's going to set up for a one-on-one individual drive to the goal. Does pass the ball off to Tim Washburn, however. Washburn attracting a double team, but
the wind blowing very hard here. You can see some evidence of it on your screen, but every now and then we get some tremendous gusts of wind. And Towson playing in that area in which the wind is now blowing right into the face of the goalie for Dulaney, Swanenberg. And Murphy loses the ball. And the players disappear into the crowd, and it will be Towson ball. The Generals trailing 5-1. The first quarter and most of the first half, all Dulaney. with some powerful offense, ball control, but now Towson starting to come back.
Dave
there's a
Fusting
shot
launching
by
his
the
shot.
goal. Towson backing up. This is what the good teams do very well. They back up. They maintain the continuity on offense. Always have an attack man or a midfielder back there, as opposed to other teams we've seen maybe not quite so skilled, and they'll lose the ball on those shots.
It's important that everybody understands his role on the offensive end of the field. Not everybody, of course, needs to handle the ball to make the offense work effectively, and that's one of those jobs, unsung jobs, just backing up the goal, being in the right place at the right time. This will be Harris Murphy, who seems to be Towson's attack quarterback today. Coming around and over the shoulder. Harris Murphy, an unassisted over-the-shoulder shot, taking the goalkeeper, Swanenberg, by surprise. And there's the second goal. Now mark it up for Towson.
2 goals for Harris Murphy, 2 goals for Towson, and it's now 5-2 Dulaney. So Dulaney jumped out to a 5-0 lead. Towson has now cut the margin to 3 with 2 goals by Murphy. And we see, of course, the importance of that goal that didn't count at the end of the half, because it would be 5-3. But it's 5-2 in favor of the Lions. And Dulaney needing to get that momentum back. And number 26 in there on the midfield for Dulaney, or 25 it is, Bob Buddington.
On a nice check there by Fusting, rattles the ball loose, but he pays for it. On the sideline, we do have a whistle, and that is a technical foul. Let's wait for clarification here. If there was possession determined on that, it will be an extra man situation.
Called a push by referee Joe Reppert. So let's see, counting it up.
That will be penalty time served. Towson has their extra man offense on the field, and it will be a 30-second extra man situation.
This is Towson's second extra man situation. They didn't get off a shot in the first one. And there's a bad pass. And a shot stopped by Swanenberg. Took a big hop, just the kind of hop that a goalie likes. Dulaney now will attempt to clear. Back to Swanenberg. He looks over on this side to Bakunis.
So far, the ball being handled very well by the Dulaney defense under strong pressure from the riding Towson attack. Bit of a buddy pass there. But we do have another push being called on that. And I believe that Dulaney will get possession back on the loose ball push.
That's exactly what happens. It is Dulaney with the ball. The Lions leading 5-2, trying to regain the momentum that they had in the most of the first half.
Now it becomes important for that Towson defense, the highly regarded Towson defense, to really show themselves well matched against the Dulaney offense. If they can hold the Dulaney offense, give their own offense a chance to get back in this game, we could see things tighten up significantly.
This is Leung in the middle. Clark coming around, nice pass, and a stop in there. Pompanio won in a long line of outstanding Towson goalkeepers, but that pass came out of his stick too low. It will go all the way the length of the field and will be Dulaney ball. Certainly pleased to be able to talk to Tom Matty at halftime, a fine gentleman. Stayed here in the Baltimore metropolitan community, and man we all remember fondly for the Baltimore Colts. A man that came in and played quarterback with the plays on his wrist, Bob, on a wristband.
Yeah, he's probably most famous for that, but he was we frequently, I think, overlooked that he was one of the steadiest running backs for all those years with the Baltimore Colts.
Fine halfback, fine pass receiver. So
here's all that stuff about his being too slow to play in the pros.
Right. Too slow to only play all those years and do a fine job. And here comes Dulaney. And a pass by Dulaney that goes out of bounds, so this should be a Towson ball, and is.
And Mike Hayes making a bit of a hasty pass in there, I think, as it went out of bounds. Pretty obviously not a good idea. Controlling the ball down on their offensive end, of course, is important, and those unwise passes will hurt.
Looking around here today, a couple thousand people at least here at Towson High School ringing the field. And Dulaney leads 5-2. We're in the third quarter. And this is Mark Evans. Back to Pompanio looking for help. And Dorsey Moore. Slashing on the head.
Right, good call, Wilson. That is a slash. Seeing through the crowd, the significant crowd on the sidelines, a little tough for us. But it is a slash occurring right on the near sidelines. And that will give Towson an extra man situation for a minute.
Well, the Generals have had 2 extra man situations. They have not capitalized on either one, and in fact, on both occasions, have thrown the ball away without getting a shot. So Coach Days obviously wants to see his team capitalize on this extra man situation. This has been a very cleanly played game. Well played game by both teams. 5-2 Dulaney. Harris Murphy behind the goal. And here's a shot by the goal. Murphy will back up, and Towson will retain possession. Coach Days. That was a rather strange pass there, if indeed it wasn't supposed to be a pass, but here comes Towson. And a goal!
Yeah.
And that is
Dave Fusting,
number
17 out at the midfield position, just inside the restraining line, launching that hard bounce shot.
Well, what was a 5-0 Dulaney lead is now 5-3 as Towson is coming back.
Actually, Bill Becker, number 5, behind the goal, who launched the ball out to Fusting just previous to that, saved the whole play by keeping a ball inbounds that would have lost the possession over to Dulaney.
And now Towson is really high as they have come back to cut the margin to 2. Stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back. The Towson Generals in their huddle. They have cut the margin from 5-0 to 5-3. We're still in the third period. Coach Days talking to his team, and of course Coach Schreiber for Dulaney called that timeout to get his team back on track. Dulaney jumping out to an early 5-0 lead and looking as if they were going to run away with this game. But that has not been the case.
I'm going to speculate just a little bit here, Wilson. I think that maybe coming into this game, Towson had some self-doubt, possibly, having lost earlier this week to Loch Raven, and coming in against this highly regarded Dulaney team. They looked in the beginning as if they weren't quite sure what they were doing playing against these guys, but now their offense is clicking. I think they're feeling the confidence that they need to feel to know that they can play with these guys. So I'm looking for an even game from here on out.
Well, Buddington came up with that face-off, as he's done so often this afternoon. And it's Dulaney on the attack, and a goal would be very important here for the Lions to cut that Towson momentum. Of course, Dulaney can take more time because they have the lead. And this is Clark behind the goal. Jay Clark has done an outstanding job all year for Dulaney. He's been an outstanding goal scorer and particularly an outstanding assist man. Mark Evans is working him over.
And Clark does score. That ball did get in. That is a goal as signaled by the referee. The Towson defense a little bit surprised by that, but it did catch the inside net, just inside the pipe, that is. And Jay Clark running that confident offense that we've seen in the first half. And Dulaney, although the score is a little bit closer, is still playing with the power that they have shown.
6-3 now in favor of the Lions. And that was a very important goal for the Lions. Jay Clark reading the back. There's Coach Gary Schreiber.
Relieved by that goal, I'm sure. Get his offense on track.
Well, that's what the outstanding player does. When things get close, get tight, and here is Buddington again coming up with a face-off. He's going to make some college an outstanding face-off man, and he comes right out. But he's done his job, which is to get the ball. And Leung takes his place.
Leung momentarily dropping the ball, but back in possession.
Dulaney again on the offense. They lost their momentum momentarily, but they seem to have it back now. That offense starting to click. They lead 6-3.
Leung has space for that right-hand shot. He does get it off, but Pompanio is up to the task. A nice save.
Well, Richard Rosenthal taking quite a pounding there as he brings the ball down, but he gets it across. And now Towson will go on the attack, and this is Harris Murphy. And he comes in, and he hits the goalie. Nice stop in there by Swanenberg, holding his position. And that shot by the goal, but Towson again backing up, and they will retain possession. Now Towson getting that first unit midfield back in, as does Dulaney. It's the second unit for Dulaney. Buddington, Ledbetter, Campbell. And this is Harris Murphy. Making a wild one-handed shot, really no angle there. Referee's made a call down here. The players haven't heard the whistle, but he's going to call a Towson player for basically a forearm. There are the Towson cheerleaders: Laura Chaffinch, Michelle Brasso, Shannon McGuire, Tracy Sheehan, Lynn Lacey, Kim Autry, Stacy Bartell, Heidi Brower, and Kelly York. And to the sidelines for Towson, number 17, Dave Fusting on the penalty. So it will be Dulaney with the extra man.
And it was a 1-minute call. In blocking, throwing a body check, both hands have to be on the stick, and it's illegal to throw the elbow. And I believe that was the decision of the referee. But Fusting moved his elbow out a little too far on the body check, drawing a 1-minute penalty. So the extra man offense for Dulaney will have a scoring opportunity here. Leung winds up and shoots.
By the goal, Dulaney backs up and will retain possession. The Lions lead 6-3. We're in the third quarter. There's a shot.
Ball loose on the crease. Pompanio rolling around on top of the ball, but able to get possession.
Eric Legay helped out that time by stepping into the goal mouth and keeping that ball out. And this is Evans. Richard Rosenthal. And he gets it back to Dorsey Moore. And number 7 on there for Towson, and that is Dave Goko.
Now you see the referee raising his hand down in the lower part of your screen, indicating that Dorsey Moore had cleared the ball into the offensive zone, that box on the field, and that clears the penalty.
And we see the clock coming on the field, so that means less than a minute to go in the third quarter. Towson needs to get their final second offense 3 seconds shorter, because they lost a goal at the end of the first half by scoring 3 seconds after the half had ended. It's 6-3 Dulaney, and here's Murphy. And a hard shot by Fusting, by Dorsey Moore. And Swanenberg.
Swanenberg with a nice crisp pass up to his defenseman, number 38 there, Bob Perkunis, quickly down to the attack. And in the final seconds of this quarter, the Dulaney offense will have a chance.
Clark, and he scores. Jay Clark with his second goal. And Dulaney now takes a 7-3 lead. So what was once a 2-goal margin is back to 4. And Pomponio is on the ground.
And the excitement is back in the Dulaney offense. Clark, again, with, is that his second or third goal, Wilson?
Second.
Second goal, but both of them on strong individual efforts, using his strength to overpower the Towson defenseman and getting the ball in on an unassisted marker.
Chip Miller has 1, Jay Clark 2, Robbie Robertson 2, Andy Leung has 1, and Mike Hayes 1 for Dulaney's total of 7. 2 goals by Harris Murphy and 1 by Fusting. And so while the injured player is attended to, stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back.
There is no magic pill to keep you from getting cancer. But there is something you can take every day that might help. The right foods. Foods with less fat and more fiber. And if you eat plenty of green and yellow vegetables, fresh fruits and whole grains, and cut down on alcohol too, you may actually reduce your risk of getting several forms of cancer. Now that's not so hard to swallow, is it?
Bob Pomponio is up and back at his position. They're part of the huge crowd here at Towson High School this afternoon. But Pomponio is going to come out, and going into the goal for Towson will be number 6, Matt Harold, a junior.
I believe Pomponio's all right, but in the rule that applies to that is that if a player goes down for an injury timeout, that he must come out of the game as a result of that. Otherwise, the team is charged with the timeout. So at least for one play, for one substitution opportunity, Pomponio will have to come out of the game. He looks like he's okay and probably will be back in.
Coach Days is out there warming up Matt Harold. Again, stay with Cable 4 next week because we'll have a fine girls lacrosse game between Hereford and Catonsville.
This is Pomponio on the sideline, moving around, stretching it out.
And we see that Bob wears glasses, which is somewhat unusual for a goalkeeper.
And there's
Coach
Harold being given the warm-up shots by Randy Dace. That's a tough job for a goalkeeper, sitting around to come off the bench with no notice. But that's the role of the backup goalkeeper. He's got to be ready.
Coach Days will be with us as our color commentator on the Baltimore County All-Star Lacrosse game. Again, we'd like to suggest that everyone come out and watch that. It'll be at Catonsville Community College, May 18th, 2 o'clock, the Baltimore County All-Star Lacrosse game. And Cable 4 will be there to cover the game for your enjoyment. 7-3.
We remind you that the clock is on the field. We would estimate that there's something less than 30 seconds in this period.
So it'll be a face-off after that goal. Towson did this at the end of the first quarter. They had the ball, gave it up with seconds left. Dulaney came down and scored. And here's Towson coming down on offense. And a long outside shot, and that's it. The third quarter has come to an end with the score, Dulaney 7 and Towson 3. Stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back.
This is Cable 4, community and educational television for Baltimore County.
Both teams getting ready for the fourth and final period. Certainly want to congratulate for their usual fine job our Cable 4 crew, who once again out here in wind that at times gusting very strongly, and yet they're out here taking the pictures that you're seeing and giving you the fine coverage There's Matt, one of our cameramen up there high up on a tower. And folks, it's kind of interesting to be up on a tower on a windy day like this. So Towson trails by 4 as Dulaney has regained its offensive momentum. The Lions leading 7-3.
Yeah, it's probably not all that apparent on your set, but it is a nice sunny day, but we do have a real steady 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing here, which is putting a little chill in the air for us sitting around, and also occasionally raising those dust clouds down in the field. But here's our face-off matchup. That'll be Dorsey Moore for Towson. I'll get it out, and Bob Buddington.
And that time, Moore got the ball with an over-the-head pass to Busting.
A pass across.
And a score.
Busting rifles it in. High shot over the goalkeeper's right shoulder on a very well-executed fast break.
Blair Boggs involved in that. Washburn, just, again, like one of the other Towson goals, just a coach in lacrosse, you know, could draw that up on the board, and it's the perfect play almost. Every pass is crisp. Every pass is to the open man and the easy goal. And that cuts the margin once again to 3 as Towson gets the first goal of the 4th quarter, and it is 7-4 now in favor of Dulaney. And the secret again is getting that face-off, which Dulaney has been controlling with Buddington.
Things are getting a little exciting down there on the field. Both teams wanting the ball desperately in this last period.
Now we'll get a call here. The referee has blown the whistle. A little extracurricular activity. A lot of fans over there. And this is where the officials must step in and make a definite call and keep the game under control. And that's exactly what the referees have done. Referee Joe Reppert on that far side, and it will be Towson ball. Number 5 will have it for the Generals, Bill Becker.
There was a little unnecessary stick contact on the sidelines there. The referees choosing apparently not to call it.
That's a dangerous pass that number 29, Chris Andrews, got away from that time. A buddy pass that could have resulted in some problems, but Towson retains possession. This is number 25 for the Generals, Sam Goff. It is 7-4.
And Goff, having had some attack experience, is not shy about going to the goal. Backing up the ball, Harrison Murphy. Keep the possession in the Towson end.
Dulaney's midfielders on defense today have done an outstanding job. They've kept that Towson midfield, as we see Coach Days on the sideline, kept that Towson midfield at bay. And here's a shot by number 8, Tim Washburn, that just went by the side of the goal.
Well, that was a first-rate opportunity there. Washburn had a chance to capitalize on that. Just missed the pipe.
With all the goals they've scored, we've forgotten, or maybe Dulaney's defensive skills in the midfield and on close defense have been overlooked.
Yeah, certainly before the day is out, I want to recognize the Dulaney defense. They have done an excellent job. Defensemen, I guess we're partly to blame, don't get recognized all that often, but Chris Cavallo, Jeff Iannello, and Ben Pecunis, the starting 3 defensemen who are in the game right now for Dulaney, have done an excellent job all day.
Well, I guess it's like offensive linemen in football. They don't get their names mentioned much, but they're
Until
the key to the game. Right. And now we're going to get a push called against Dulaney.
But it is a loose ball push, just meaning possession is retained by Towson. Referee is moving Washburn out of the box, out of the offensive zone. There he is, bringing the ball into our picture. Making a move on Jeff Iannello. some of the fans thinking that that's a goal, but the ball was on the back of the net.
He hit the side of the goal and also went in the crease. So
in order to score, the ball has to hit the concave side of the goal in this game. The convex side doesn't count.
So Dulaney now trying to clear. They lead by 3, 7-4. Time, of course, on their side.
Well, a nice ground ball. Dulaney attackman, Joey Thomas picking that ball up off the sideline, saving it from going out of bounds. And this is Thomas making an individual move to the goal, but the double team traps him. I don't know that they're going to call that a shot. Yes, the referee does deem that that was a shot, so the Dulaney attackman being closest to the ball, Dulaney will have possession.
And Pompanio stops out of the goal looking for help. And a good check there by the Dulaney attackman. It might have been Clark. No, it wasn't Clark over there. It was number 8, Mike Hayes. And the ball will go over to Dulaney.
Yeah, the action taking place on the far side of the field with the crowd over there. It's sometimes hard to pick out the official from this distance.
Well, there are a lot of red jackets and red sweaters over there, and Dulaney, of course, wearing red, and they just kind of blend into the crowd. But Dulaney will have the ball, and of course they lead by 3. And it will go back to the goalie Swanenberg.
We're seeing some very crisp passing on the defensive end of the field. In that last flurry, the ball was moving very rapidly up and down the field.
This has been an outstanding rivalry since Dulaney High School opened. Of course, years ago when there was no Dulaney High School, all the people that lived in that area went to Towson. So these are true neighborhood rivalries, or neighborhood rivals, and this has always been an outstanding rivalry. Plus, these have always been 2 outstanding lacrosse teams. So Dulaney...
Oh, without a doubt, the class of the Baltimore County League for the...
Well, Loch Raven would give you an argument this year.
Yeah, they've had... Actually, they've had some good teams occasionally breaking into that upper echelon.
Dulaney beat Loch Raven this year, but Loch Raven did beat Towson.
Right.
And this is number 1, Chip Miller. Pompanio again. Kunis in there on a number of players, and the ball still on the ground. And Harris Murphy comes out of the pack for Towson. And that ball hits the pipe. Well, some excitement there, but no score for the Generals, and here comes Dulaney. That was a hard pass for number 20 that time, Andy Campbell, because he had to look right into the sun.
And in this unsettled situation...
And another ball that hits the pipe.
Off the pipe.
Rosenthal in the center, but he throws the ball out, and it is picked off by Dulaney. And, of course, all of this eats up time, which works to the advantage of the Lions, because they lead by 3, 7-4.
And there's as much excitement on the sideline as there is on the field. The fans really getting into the game here. Obviously, both sides represented by their fans today, and both
every one of whom considers himself a lacrosse expert, and there is a score.
Again, an individual effort, unassisted goal going to number 15, Robbie Robertson, taking the ball on another high shot. That's worked for Dulaney today, and they're staying with it. There's Robertson coming off the field, getting congratulated by his teammates, producing the 8th goal on the scoreboard for the Dulaney Lions.
Robertson's 3rd goal of the afternoon. It is now 8-4 in favor of Dulaney. I was saying every fan here considers himself or herself to be a lacrosse expert in this hotbed of lacrosse in the state of Maryland. Dorsey Moore this time for Towson, hotly pursued. Boggs there losing the ball to number 2, the defenseman for Dulaney, Chris Cavallo.
Another long pass down the field, but here comes the attack on a one-on-one situation. And a great save by Pompanio.
Jamie Pizzula, who's been a prolific scorer, held scoreless today, but of course his teammates have picked up the slack. And this is number 27 for Towson, Dave Duda. And Towson calls timeout. And it's 8-4 Dulaney with that Towson timeout.
We can't see the clock, and the time is not on the field, so I'm going to take a guess, but I believe that there's probably something on the order of 5 minutes or so left in the period.
Stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back.
Cable 4, community and educational TV for Baltimore County, has something for you to cheer about. Stay with us as we cover the high-speed checking of lacrosse. Cable 4 brings you all the blocks, tackles, and teams that make county high school football so exciting. Watch us, and you won't miss a serve or shot in the best volleyball and basketball. Watch Cable 4 and get the best in Baltimore County high school sports.
4 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the 4th and final period. Towson in its huddle. There are the Dulaney Lions. They lead by 4, 8-4. And we're certainly hoping and looking for Dulaney and Towson to go far in the state playoffs, but also a good Pikesville team in there in contention. And the Loch Raven Raiders looking to make some moves in the state playoffs. Last year, Towson won the A title. Perry Hall having an outstanding year on the cross. At least, as of today, record something like 8-2 for the Perry Hall Gators. Hereford with a good team. But it's Towson on the offense. Dorsey Moore. And Leung just doing an outstanding job on him. And another shot that hits the pipe. Both teams. Dave Fusting that time, bouncing one off the pipe.
Fusting has a shot. I mean, he can shoot that ball with some velocity. The time we heard the noise all the way up here through the crowd noise and the wind, so you know it was a hard shot.
And they get it right back to him. Dave Fusting, a senior at Towson. I'd like to mention, well, let's watch this play. There's Fusting, and he does score.
Shot pays off that time.
He has 3 of Towson's 5 goals, as it is now 8-5 in favor of Dulaney. Dave Fusting, senior at Towson High.
Dorsey Moore making the original moves on that play to draw the attention of the midfield defense, quickly getting it over to Fusting. A nice bit of teamwork there, and Fusting launching that long, bouncing shot. As I said, he has a hard shot, and that one got by Swanenberg.
Bob, before we go off the air today, I certainly want to mention that Towson's JV team is undefeated. They beat Dulaney 9-8 in overtime, and they will play Loch Raven on Monday. If you're watching this game on Saturday, on Monday, Towson's JV will play Loch Raven for the championship. And here's Towson's varsity on the attack, trailing by 3, and they get it back to Fusting.
And we are down, I would estimate, inside 3 minutes, and it's a 3-goal margin. So the Towson Generals can't spend a lot of time thinking about what they're going to do on offense. They have to execute. This is Tim Washburn taking the ball. Looks like he's going to go for an individual move.
And Washburn, again, those Dulaney midfielders and close defensemen, very well.
And there's a shot in, a goal. A goal scored again by Fusting. Fusting, the opportunist that time, sneaking around, all the way around behind the goal from his midfield position, coming out the side, being spotted by Harris Murphy, and putting the ball on the inside corner.
And Coach Gary Schreiber says timeout. Randy Dace leading the cheers for his team. Bobby tried everything today to psych his team up. He said he was going to use every trick and every device he knew. They had a big pep rally here at Towson. The Generals now trail by 2, 8-6, with about 3 minutes to go in the game. And certainly, as always, it's exciting.
Well, one thing that was impressive about that goal, as I was mentioning, that the Towson offense would have to get moving to cut that margin, but they had a play. I mean, they ran a play. It wasn't just a matter of somebody taking the ball, cranking up, and hoping for the best. I mean, it was a well-executed play, the unit working together, sign of a well-coached, disciplined team.
And that play was set up by some of the previous action. Fusting on 2 occasions, one he hit the pipe, one he scored, was out in the midfield, took the shot from long range.
And in the midst of that crowd is Gary Schreiber,
yes,
trying to get his defense settled
There's
down.
Gary. And anyway, then Fusting moved around behind the goal, sneaked around, and took the pass and was able to score his 4th goal of the afternoon. He has 4. Harris Murphy has 2. And it's now an 8-6 ball game with Dulaney leading. But what Dulaney has done twice before today, when Towson makes a run at them, they come right back and score. So let's see what happens in this 4th quarter.
And this will be a critical face-off with the 2 face-off men we've seen matched up all day. Bob Buddington for Dulaney, Dorsey Moore for Towson, and they're about even on these draws. Ball stays on the ground long enough that all the midfielders are now involved in the play. Dulaney comes up with the original scoop, but it's loose again, and there is a whistle on the play. There is a whistle, a loose ball push. Possession will go to Dulaney. Tough break for the Towson Generals.
Well, many of the fans not happy with the call. The Dulaney fans happy with the call, and it's a Dulaney ball. It will be Andy Leung at the midfield. And again, of course, what Dulaney can do is just take their time. Leading by 2, time is on their side. And Leung, who's done an outstanding job offensively and defensively, and there it is, exactly what's happened all day. Towson makes a run, Dulaney comes back quickly, and number 19 for Dulaney.
That's 18.
18.
Joey Thomas.
Joey Thomas.
Shot in
his 1st goal of the afternoon. And it is now a 9-6 game, and that takes a lot of the momentum away from Towson.
There's Joey Thomas there, having racked up that important goal for the Dulaney offense. Notice that Dulaney didn't go into any stalling tactics. Less than 2 minutes in the period. They could have opted for that, but no way. Andy Leung taking the ball, making an offensive move to the goal, and dumping it off to Thomas for that all-important score, opening up a 3-goal margin now, and Buddington coming up with a face-off. Out to Thomas again, carrying the ball into the offensive zone, and they may be content to slow it down a little bit now, Wilson.
9-6 Dulaney, and this is exactly what the Lions wanted to do, get that quick goal, 3-goal margin, and then be able to just kind of take their time, work the ball around. And a lot of credit again to the defensive play of Dulaney today. Both the close defense and the midfielders playing outstanding defensive ball. Buddington getting most of the face-offs. Leung doing a fine job as the offensive quarterback, and also with his defensive play from the midfield. And this is Dulaney with the ball.
I would comment, having seen Leung play for this team for the last 3 years, he has evolved into a very fine midfielder, taking control of the offense, as you had just mentioned, playing excellent defense. Here's an offensive move for him, just saved by the defenseman behind Pomponio in the goal.
And it'll be a man in the crease for Dulaney. It'll be Towson ball.
That'll be a free clear, by the way, with possession if there's a crease violation rather than forcing penalty time. The team who was defending the goal gets the ball all the way in their attack zone. So that's the free clear, the ball being set up in your screen there, just beyond the midfield line.
And it's Dorsey Moore who's done some yeoman work for Towson today. Towson shorthanded their outstanding midfielder, John Sheehan, all-county as a sophomore, out for the season. A lot of other injuries. Moore shoots over the goal, but Towson will retain possession. Washburn on this near side, and here's a flag.
Is down. Washburn gets a shot off, but Schwanenberg does stop it. The flag is down. It's a slashing call. Towson should have an extra man opportunity here.
And Coach Days giving them a play. Both teams have played very well today. We've got to give Towson a lot of credit. Short-handed with a lot of injuries and a team that wasn't supposed to be in Dulaney's league, so to speak, this year. The Generals have done a good job, but Dulaney is a powerful team, and there's a bad pass. Something that's hurt Towson very much in the first half. But Dulaney is a powerhouse, and we're certainly hoping for big things from them in the upcoming state playoffs.
As we mentioned before, time being a crucial factor, we don't have a clock that we can see. We're keeping an eye out to try to spot the timekeeper when she goes on the field, and there's no sign of that yet.
Eric Legay picks off the errant pass, and here comes, and there is the time on the field. So, barring a miracle, Dulaney will be able to win this game, but Towson would certainly like to get another goal.
And Towson does take a timeout here. They need to get a shot off very quickly. Randy Dace wisely using one of his remaining timeouts to set up a play.
And Randy Dace with some strong words there to his attack. I think he wanted to see that ball go directly into the goal, because obviously now time is a definite factor. And Towson trails by 3, 9-6.
Well, as we just noted, the clock just went on the field right before the timeout, so there's probably something about, say 50 seconds or so left in the game. And with a 3-goal margin, Randy's got to come up with a quick hitter play. So look for a shot to get off quickly once the ball goes back in play, Wilson.
Well, the Dulaney offensive team has not scored as many goals as they usually do today, but their defensive prowess, something that may have been overlooked because of all those goals. There are some of the Dulaney cheerleaders really making a lot of the difference today. Dulaney able to keep the Towson midfield pretty much out of the game until the very final moments there. A couple of Towson cheerleaders on the sidelines. But we've seen, as we always do, this caliber of lacrosse, outstanding lacrosse plays from both teams. Some individual one-on-one plays excellently performed by Dulaney. And here's Towson with their last chance, and a shot by Fusting from the outside, and Towson will get another chance.
That's what I would have done on a timeout, is told Fusting to take the shot. He's shown that he does have that hard shot from the outside, and that's what Towson has to do, is start launching the ball toward the goal.
Washburn takes a shot that goes by the far side, and Towson will get another chance. But it's really academic here, because with only seconds left and trailing by 3, Dulaney is going to win this game. Another shot by Fusting, and it's picked off by the Lions. And number 2 for Dulaney.
That's Cavallo coming in, trying to get a shot off. With the ball checked away, the Dulaney attack, Robertson picks it up to control the ball. The offense still going to the goal. Number 12, Derek Bowen, that is.
What Cavallo did that was interesting that time, Bob, he ran right at the young lady with the clock. And she had to beat a hasty retreat to get off the field. So just seconds left here.
The timekeeper is not at no risk on the field.
And we see number 81, Roland Matty, now in there for Dulaney, and that's it. The game is over, and after 2 years of losing to Towson, Dulaney remains undefeated by defeating the Generals here this afternoon by the score of 9-6. And Bob, we saw a very good lacrosse game.
Yeah, an exciting game. It started out, looked like it might be a runaway. Dulaney, that is, opening up a quick 5-goal lead. Towson not looking like they really had their act together in the beginning, but coming on strong in the middle of the game, say around the middle of the second quarter. Their offense started to tighten things up, and it was a very exciting game. I think both teams have a lot to be proud of here. They were both well matched today.
Dulaney celebrating, Towson doing some commiserating. There are the victorious Lions, and certainly our congratulations to Coach Schreiber, Coach McGay, for the work they've done, and those outstanding athletes at Dulaney High School in a number of sports this year, and certainly the lacrosse team carrying on that tradition at Dulaney High School in 1986, and we hope to see them in the state playoffs and the state finals at the end of this season. Towson will be going to the A playoffs. They have a tough road to hoe. They'll have to go to South Carroll. Then they may, if they win there, they'll probably have to go to South River. So Towson with a tougher road perhaps in the state playoffs this year than Dulaney, but Anything can happen, and if Towson can play, Bob, as you noted, the way they played in that second half, with the passing, particularly in the shooting, they might go a lot farther than people expect.
Yeah, we just had a shot of Randy Days there on the screen, and he's noted for his coaching strategy. I'm sure he'll be pulling some things out of the hat for the playoffs this year.
So this is Wilson Watson, together with Bob Sopka, saying so long from Towson High School, where once again the final score is Dulaney 9 and Towson 6. So long, everybody.
Cable 4, community and educational TV for